Have a good morning from the Mondo Hotel here in Coatbridge. Decided to take a wee night away. We actually came down to Glasgow yesterday for the Rangers and Celtic game, so that is why taking a very short break. But so good morning. Hope everybody is well and enjoying your time off. If you still happen to be off, or are you back to work and back into the doldrums and the January blues? Certainly, with regards to winter weather, cool weather lovers, you could say that it is a little bit of a kind of boring pattern at the moment. We do have a firmly Atlantic driven pattern at that, positive Arctic oscillation, positive North Atlantic oscillation, and I think through the first half of the month is going to be fairly mobile in terms of systems coming in off the Atlantic. In between those areas of low pressure, higher pressure will briefly visit, bringing spells of more settled conditions. Clear skies, light winds at night means we could see frosty conditions as well. Certainly was a cold morning to start this morning before more wind and rain moved in from the west. Temperatures widely below freezing from the Midlands northwards, even into the south of England, away from the coast. You can see here temperatures below freezing, not on par with last night, the night before. So this was yesterday morning temperatures down to minus 9.1 at Kinbrace. So a not too shabby cold morning for the 2nd of January, that's for sure. Nothing extreme by any stretch, but certainly a pretty cold morning nonetheless. And we are going to probably see less cold this week as we progress through the next several days here. So, of course, looking at the I'm going to try and get the right chart. Looking at the total precipitation over the next couple of weeks, you can see here just simply by playing this accumulated precipitation chart here that we have got a firmly Atlantic pattern. We've got plenty of moisture coming in off the Atlantic from a west to southwesterly direction over the next couple of weeks. Notice here that always wettest west facing areas of the UK and Ireland here. That's where the biggest totals are going to mount up. We could see some significant totals on top of what we've already seen actually over the next 10 days or so as we see one system after another pushing in off the Atlantic. Looking at the overview chart, really, you can see here that we do have a little bit of a break, but there's the next feature moving in during the course of today, last night. Then, of course, as you can see here, we'll progress through the course of today. We've got more showers rattling in on that westerly wind, and then we'll see a little bit of a breather once again by the time we reach Friday. Area of low pressure. Notice here across in the southern half of England and Wales. Then, of course, we've got another feature moving in off the Atlantic here. Some of these areas of low pressure, we need to watch the depth of them because it looks as if the modelling is indicating by the time we reach the second half of the weekend coming up here. This is off the GFS, of course, just one model, so you can't take this as gospel, but look at the depth of the low and the squeeze in the isobars. That could bring some pretty stormy conditions across particularly southern areas. A little bit chillier across the northern flank of that area of low pressure, so we can't rule out the possibility of snow. I think snow going to be ongoing threat, especially above 250 metres across the northern half of the British Isles over the next several days and even the next couple of weeks, really, I think. Notice here that we've got a pretty bona fide 1040 millibar area of low pressure. Let's skip to the very end of the loop here because the reason why I'm showing you this is because I think by this time we reach the second half of the month, the pattern could slightly change. But we've got a pretty strong 1045 high over the eastern portion of Europe. What may start to happen is some of the models have been indicating a bit of a Scandinavian block starting to develop and winds then transferring kind of east to west over Europe. Of course, always debatable as to whether those easterly winds, even if they do develop, ever reach the British Isles or whether we can completely shut down the Atlantic, of course. That is open to question, always open to doubt as well. But look at the GFS ensemble here. If you notice here, this is the North Atlantic view. And at the moment, we've got the classic positive North Atlantic oscillation, negative up towards Greenland and Iceland. We've got the positive to the south of the British Isles. Of course, there's your jet stream in between, and we have that very mobile pattern. As we play through these 5-day increments, you notice here that we start to see subtle changes taking place. Yes, we start to increase the depth of the negative up towards the northwest of the British Isles, day 7 through 11. So this is the period 7th of January through the 12th of January. But notice here as we push towards the middle and second half of the month that we start to see a build-up of pressure across the North Atlantic here. So while this doesn't necessarily say anything particularly firm with regards to a colder pattern, it's certainly sniffing out the subtle changes in the overall evolution of the pattern. So certainly the first 10 to 15 days of the month, firmly Atlantic driven, and therefore we not necessarily going to be super warm by the way, but certainly it will be average to slightly above average temperatures, I believe. And then during the second half of the month, if we can start to see a build-up of pressure over the North Atlantic, shuts down the westerlies, and then therefore we get that little bit of a glimmer of chance that if we have a build-up of pressure to the north or over Scandinavia, we could start to see things becoming a little bit more interesting during the second half of the month. Let's have a look at the Northern Hemisphere view for the same period. So this is day 12 through 16, which is the 12th through the 17th of the month. And notice this here, we're starting to see a trough over Europe. We've got the positive here over the North Atlantic extending up through Greenland. Look at the Arctic here. Big turnaround taking place. And this has been highlighted here in my channel since practically before Christmas, that we would see the flip around back to a positive Arctic oscillation, North Atlantic oscillation, and then we would have the possibility of seeing that change back over to a negative once again, the pattern repeating itself. Now, I'm not saying at the moment anyway that we're going to see the same that took place during the first half of December. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that the pattern has a possibility with it occurring in September, November, December. Why can it not happen once again? The pattern just continue and repeat. Mont-Julian oscillation, I believe, is the key driver, along with other drivers within the Pacific Ocean, to see this change in the overall pattern. And again, the modelling is sniffing out warming middle portion of the month within the stratosphere. Again, that is something that we need to watch, but I'm still not seeing any true signs that that is going to become a major driver, if you will. If it does occur, the chances are that the response to anything that happens with that wouldn't occur till the very end of the month, even into the month of February here. So I just want to kind of point that one out to you and make that quite clear. So overall, the Atlantic is the driving force at the moment. It looks as if it's going to weaken as we progress towards the middle and second half of the month. What outcome comes from that will be certainly worth watching, and certainly I would encourage you to keep it right here on my YouTube channel. So I appreciate you watching, knocking on the door of 4,000 subscriptions. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and we can watch this weather and this winter pattern progress right here on a daily basis. So I appreciate you watching. Please drop a comment. Have a great day, and I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.